Released in 2001, the television film Boycott is one of those historical dramas that quietly leaves a strong impact on viewers. Directed by Clark Johnson, the movie explores a powerful chapter in American civil rights history while keeping the storytelling personal, emotional, and engaging. Rather than turning into a heavy documentary-style experience, the film focuses on the people behind the movement, their sacrifices, and the emotional pressure they faced during a critical moment in history. Even today, more than 2 decades after its release, the movie still feels relevant because its themes of equality, courage, and social change continue to connect with audiences around the world. The film is centered around the Montgomery bus boycott, one of the most important events in the American civil rights movement. However, the movie does not try to overwhelm the audience with too many historical details or political speeches. Instead, it keeps the focus on human emotions and relationships. That is what makes the film accessible even for viewers who may not know much about the real historical events. The storytelling is balanced, respectful, and emotionally grounded, making it suitable for a wide audience. One of the biggest strengths of the film is its cast. Jeffrey Wright delivers an outstanding performance as Martin Luther King Jr. Instead of trying to imitate the famous civil rights leader in an exaggerated way, Wright brings a calm and natural energy to the role. His performance feels sincere, intelligent, and emotionally honest. He captures both the public confidence and the private pressure of a young leader who suddenly becomes the face of a national movement. Throughout the film, viewers can see the emotional weight carried by the character, especially as the boycott gains momentum and the risks become more serious. Jeffrey Wright's performance is one of the main reasons the movie works so well. He does not treat Martin Luther King Jr. as an untouchable historical icon. Instead, he presents him as a real human being dealing with fear, responsibility, family pressure, and moral decisions. That human approach makes the character relatable and keeps the emotional connection strong throughout the film. Another important performance comes from Carmen Ejogo, who plays Coretta Scott King. Her role may appear quieter compared to the political speeches and public protests happening around her, but she brings emotional depth to the story. Carmen Ejogo portrays Coretta as supportive, intelligent, and emotionally resilient. She shows how families were deeply affected during the movement and how personal sacrifices often happen behind closed doors. Her scenes with Jeffrey Wright feel natural and heartfelt, adding warmth to the narrative. The supporting cast also contributes significantly to the atmosphere of the film. The performances never feel overly dramatic or artificial. Everyone plays their part with realism, helping the audience feel immersed in the historical setting. The movie avoids turning characters into simple heroes or villains. Instead, it presents individuals shaped by fear, frustration, hope, and determination. That grounded approach helps the story feel authentic. Director Clark Johnson deserves praise for handling the subject matter with sensitivity and control. Historical dramas can sometimes become slow or overly educational, but Boycott manages to stay emotionally engaging from beginning to end. Johnson keeps the pacing steady and ensures the story remains focused on character emotions as much as historical importance. He understands when to let quiet moments breathe and when to increase tension. Because of this balance, the film never feels boring despite dealing with serious themes. Visually, the movie successfully recreates the atmosphere of the 1950s American South. The costumes, streets, homes, and public spaces all feel convincing without appearing overly polished. The production design supports the realism of the story instead of distracting from it. The cinematography also helps create an intimate tone. Many scenes are filmed in a way that makes viewers feel close to the characters, almost as if they are witnessing events unfold in real time. One of the most impressive aspects of Boycott is how it handles tension without relying on action sequences or sensational drama. The emotional stakes carry the film. The audience understands that every decision made by the characters could affect thousands of lives. Conversations feel meaningful because they are connected to larger social consequences. Even simple scenes involving meetings, speeches, or family discussions carry emotional intensity. The screenplay does a strong job of balancing history with storytelling. It explains enough about the boycott to keep viewers informed, but it never turns into a classroom lecture. Instead of presenting events in a dry or mechanical way, the script focuses on the emotional impact of those events. Viewers witness fear, anger, exhaustion, and hope through the eyes of the characters. This emotional perspective helps the audience stay invested even if they already know the outcome of the historical events. The film also highlights the importance of unity and collective action. While Martin Luther King Jr. is a central figure, the movie makes it clear that social movements are built by ordinary people working together. Community members, church groups, families, and volunteers all play important roles in sustaining the boycott. This emphasis on teamwork gives the story additional emotional power. It reminds viewers that meaningful change often requires courage from many different people, not just a single leader. Another reason the film remains effective is its mature and respectful tone. It avoids exaggerated melodrama and instead trusts the audience to understand the seriousness of the situation. There are emotional scenes, but they are handled with restraint. This approach makes the powerful moments feel more genuine and memorable. The movie does not try to manipulate viewers emotionally. Instead, it allows the events and performances to speak for themselves. The soundtrack and musical score also contribute positively to the atmosphere. The music is subtle and emotionally supportive rather than overpowering. It helps enhance tension, sadness, and inspiration without distracting from the performances. The film understands that silence can sometimes be just as powerful as music, and several scenes use quiet moments very effectively. For audiences who enjoy historical dramas, Boycott offers more than just historical information. It provides emotional insight into a transformational period in history. The movie explores how fear and courage can exist at the same time and how leadership often comes with heavy personal costs. These themes make the film emotionally engaging even beyond its historical context. At the same time, viewers looking for fast-paced entertainment should understand that this is a dialogue-driven drama. The focus is on conversations, strategy, emotional conflict, and community action rather than action scenes or suspense thrills. However, the emotional intensity keeps the story compelling. The film creates tension through moral decisions and social pressure instead of physical confrontation. One particularly effective aspect of the movie is how it portrays the emotional exhaustion of prolonged struggle. The boycott was not a short event, and the film captures the strain experienced by everyone involved. Characters face uncertainty, threats, and emotional fatigue, yet they continue moving forward because they believe in the importance of the cause. This persistence gives the story a deeply inspirational quality. The movie also succeeds because it avoids simplifying history into easy answers. It acknowledges disagreements, doubts, and strategic conflicts within the movement. Leaders are shown discussing difficult decisions and worrying about consequences. These moments make the characters feel more realistic and prevent the film from becoming one-dimensional. Jeffrey Wright especially shines during scenes involving speeches and private reflection. He captures the emotional contrast between public leadership and personal vulnerability. His calm delivery and expressive face communicate inner conflict without needing excessive dialogue. It is a carefully controlled performance that adds credibility to the film. Carmen Ejogo's presence also gives the movie emotional balance. Her performance reminds viewers that historical movements affect families and personal relationships in profound ways. She brings warmth and quiet strength to the story, helping the emotional scenes feel more grounded. Clark Johnson's direction keeps the focus on emotional truth rather than spectacle. He allows scenes to develop naturally and trusts the performances to carry emotional weight. This restrained style works perfectly for the subject matter because it keeps the audience emotionally connected instead of distracted by unnecessary cinematic tricks. Another strong point is the film's educational value without becoming overly academic. Younger viewers or audiences unfamiliar with the Montgomery bus boycott can learn important historical context while still enjoying an engaging drama. The film presents history in a way that feels accessible and emotionally meaningful. Even though the movie deals with serious themes of racism and inequality, it ultimately carries a hopeful message about courage, dignity, and collective determination. It shows how ordinary individuals can create extraordinary change through persistence and unity. That inspirational tone gives the film lasting emotional resonance. From a filmmaking perspective, Boycott may not rely on massive budgets or grand cinematic visuals, but it succeeds because of its strong writing, focused direction, and emotionally honest performances. It proves that compelling storytelling does not always require large-scale spectacle. Sometimes sincere performances and meaningful themes are enough to create a memorable viewing experience. For viewers interested in historical dramas, civil rights stories, or character-focused storytelling, Boycott remains a thoughtful and emotionally engaging film. It respects its audience, handles its themes maturely, and delivers performances that stay memorable long after the credits roll. The movie balances education and entertainment effectively, making it both informative and emotionally rewarding. Overall, Boycott stands as a powerful and respectful dramatization of an important historical moment. Jeffrey Wright delivers one of the film's greatest strengths through his nuanced portrayal of Martin Luther King Jr., while Carmen Ejogo and the supporting cast add emotional realism to the story. Director Clark Johnson guides the film with confidence and sensitivity, ensuring the emotional and historical elements work together smoothly. The result is a film that feels sincere, intelligent, and emotionally impactful without relying on unnecessary sensationalism. This movie is available on YouTube free.